Today's episode is brought to you by Mazars.
SoundCartel.
We all know that a business is only as good as the people in it, but true business success is only achieved by those who can lead and inspire the people around them. From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. What makes an outstanding leader, and how do you foster those attributes in yourself and your team? Ricky Nowak has trained managers at many of Australia's top companies and presented internationally on the topic of leadership. And she's the author of How to Make Good People Great Leaders and Reap the Rewards. In the book, she uses a concept called the 3 R's of leadership to make great leaders. So, what are the 3 R's? Ricky Nowak explains to Chris Ashmore.
Resilience, respect and relationship. Not in any particular order and not in any particular priority, but I see them all as being equally focused. And I think the resilience is the one that underpins it in many ways.
Can you explain what resilience is?
To me, it's about being able to manage multiple levels of complexity and multiple levels of intensity, sometimes physical, sometimes mental. I was recently on a plane and watched the air hostess pull down the oxygen mask, and I thought, you know what, we often get it wrong, don't we, when it comes to resilience. We intuitively want to give our oxygen mask to someone else. But I think resilience is about putting on our own oxygen mask first and saying, well, if I can get through this, if I can breathe through this, if I can understand how I can manage better, then maybe I'm actually going to be in a better position as a leader to manage others. And is it always going to be easy? No, but I think we can adjust the flow. And that's up to us.
So it really goes without saying that you really need to be resilient to be an effective leader.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And, you know, we have to draw down deep to understand, are we in the best position right now to manage a certain situation? And if we don't feel that we are in the best position, it's actually okay to call for help. And good leaders actually do that.
And how do you build that resilience?
Well, relationships are dynamic, but you often can build your resilience through the relationships that you have with others as well. Sure, experience is a great way to build resilience, and sure, there'll be times that we call it trial by fire and we get the experience after we need it most, and maybe then we think we're more equipped next time, and maybe we are and maybe we're not. But experience is important, but also keeping things in perspective, in my view, helps us build resilience, because if we give in too quickly and catastrophise the future, worry about it, beat ourselves up if we don't get it right, we can't build our resilience. We're only going to deplete ourselves. So making sure that we keep the situation in perspective, look at some short-term wins, look at some people who can help us along the way, will build.
Well, in your book, How to Make Good People Great Leaders, you write about the CASH acronym, K-A-S-H. Could you briefly explain what that is?
Yeah, well, it's not the cash in the wallet, but by doing these 4 things, the K-A-S-H, we might be able to put some more in there. And basically, the K is the knowledge that you have about yourself, about a situation. It's what knowledge do you have of your current client base? What knowledge do you need to have? How are your people tracking? How are you tracking? What else could you learn before you open your mouth? As we say, we need to do our homework before our mouth work. So it's the knowledge that we need to actually gather before we start to try and repair perhaps a situation or deal with a situation. The second part of the acronym is the A, it's our attitude. What is our attitude? Is it a healthy one? Is it a legacy from someone else that we have unconsciously adopted? And as a result, our attitude may be tainted and therefore not as honest because we're adopting someone else's principles. The S stands for skills. They're the skills we need to be adopting, learning and constantly honing to ensure we maximise our impact. And lastly, habits, the H, the habits that we come to work with, that we consciously or subconsciously relate to, and we pull out how can we be better equipped to understand, are they positive or perhaps holding us back?
Another R of leadership is relationships. How does a leader build better relationships with their staff? It can be tough as not everyone's the same and responds the same way in interacting with their boss, right?
Clearly, and relationships will vary from time to time with everyone. And workplaces are no different. They're always going to be dynamic. People want more than anything else to be valued. We know that. We know that they need to be acknowledged, and we know that they need to be respected. Just being aware of their needs is not enough. What is really required is action, and that's sometimes just a simple thing like checking in. And the more often we can just actually keep our eye on that person's heart, head and hands, we've got a good way to build a relationship.
Well, the final R is respect. If you build good relationships with your team, doesn't respect naturally flow from that?
In a perfect world, yes, but no. No, it doesn't. Look, you can have good relationships with someone, but when it comes down to a value-based decision or action, that's when you might pull back. You know, I can work well with someone if I don't respect their values. I'm unlikely to want to work with them on other projects. And I think we need to be sharing and collaborating constantly in the world we live in. Can't risk it.
That was leadership speaker Ricky Nowak. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow @BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast. SoundCartel. This episode was brought to you by Mazars. To find out more, visit mazars.com.au. That's mazars.com.au.